Once again, thank you very much for joining me on Ask Chuck webcast. We do this weekly about the 40 weeks out of the year that the Congress is in session in Washington, D.C. I don't do it during those other weeks of the year when I'm in Iowa doing constituent meetings. It's a privilege for me to entertain your questions from email, Facebook, or Twitter, and I answer a few questions orally, and the rest of the questions we'll answer by a letter or by email. So thank you all very much for participating, and I'll go to the questions that I'm going to answer orally for this week. The first one comes from Sue of Davenport, Facebook, quote, Eric Holder must be held accountable for his actions. On that I agree. She goes on, it is obvious that he cannot manage himself, let alone lead others. I would also agree that he has been less than candid with us what he knew about Fast and Furious in regard to when he knew about it, because we now have evidence that he knew about it a year ago before he testified before Congress just recently, that he learned about it, quote unquote, a few weeks ago. So the question to me is, what are you going to do, Chuck, besides write letters? Well, writing letters is only a tool to get the information that we have to do our constitutional job of oversight. Oversight means that Congress passes laws, appropriates money. You don't stop there. You continue to see, does the president and his appointees carry out the law and spend the money according to congressional intent. And right now, there's a lot of money and a lot of other actions that is questionable whether or not they're being carried out. I think Fast and Furious is an example. So I write letters to get information. The letters are only the beginning of an operation that includes listening to a lot of people that we call whistleblowers who come to me with information on this, and to make sure that those whistleblowers are protected under the whistleblower protection law, sending people on my staff down to the Justice Department to review records, to testify before committees of the Congress that are investigating this, and basically holding people responsible in so many ways. One of the best ways that I've had to help move this along, since I'm in the minority in the United States Senate, is to seek out the help of a Republican congressman by the name of Issa from California, chairman of one of the House investigating committees. And since he's in the majority, and as chairman he has the power of subpoena, that's been one way that I've been able to get a lot of documents. But when you hold a person responsible, as you've asked me to do in the case of Holder, I would suggest to you that I'm going to continue my investigation and not worry about Holder until I find out who made this decision of Fast and Furious and hold that individual responsible. If it's Holder, I will hold that individual responsible. But right now, our goal is twofold. One, to find out who gave at the highest levels of government, whether it's in the Justice Department or in the White House, who gave final approval for this. And the second thing is to make sure a stupid action like Fast and Furious doesn't happen again. Thank you very much for your question. I'll go on now to the second question I have. It's from Twitter, Gabe from Fort Dodge. Anyway, there could be a mandate stating no primaries before June of election year. Year-long elections are ridiculous. Well, I have to agree with you that year-long elections are ridiculous, but we don't have one political party in the country. We really have 50 different political parties. We have two different political parties, I guess is the best way to say it, but they have 50 different branches, so you have 50 different rules, 50 different state laws on governing them, and it would be unconstitutional for the federal government to take over the process of determining when states can hold their primaries or not hold their primaries. So thank you for your question. Now, the rest of this week, and remember, yesterday was a national holiday, so we didn't meet, so our meetings are going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. We're going to finish today the China currency bill. We're going to move on to taking up the Panama, Colombia, South Korea free trade agreements, and then we're going to move on to the President's second stimulus package. Next week, I will be on Ask Chuck webcast again. Invite your questions from email, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank you very much.